Hey, what's going on, everyone? I didn't know what video to do this week, so I figured the Nintendo Switch presentation was just a few days ago, so let's do a little review and analyzation of that. And it's not going to be little, it's going to be kind of a long video. So anyway, let's get right into it. Starting off with, and this is just a nitpick, I felt like the intro music was a little jarring with those sudden stops and then very quickly followed by the Switch click sound effects. I don't know, it just was really weird. And I just want to get to the most frustrating thing about this is I wanted to watch this anime in subs, not dubs. Like, dubs are always bad, no matter what. But no, seriously, these dub translations were pretty damn awful. Yes, it was probably done on the spot. Still, it would have been nice if they gave us the option to read subtitles. So the first guy we see is the successor to Satoru Iwata, and his name's right there, I'm not going to try pronouncing it. And interestingly enough, he actually is about 10 years older than Iwata would have been. Now getting to this point, I actually just realized that the Switch dock has 2 USB ports on the left side. By the way, please don't fucking noose me up if I get something wrong. That happened in my last Switch video. And those would be 3.0 ports because that's pretty much a standard at this point. Now there's going to be a few side notes here. For one, after watching this presentation, I can say without a doubt that Nintendo's innovation is really showing this time. And if this is what came out in 2013, the competition of Sony and Microsoft would have been absurdly annihilated. I mean, take a look at what Sony's working on right now. So, for the first actual reveal of this presentation, we have the release date of the Switch, which actually really surprised me, because the last 4 Nintendo consoles were all released in the fall season. And that does actually make me a bit concerned, too, that they might be rushing it out. To go along with that, there was that joke that, it would be delayed again until probably the holidays. So, and all this means that Nintendo might be desperate to get this new console out ASAP, and of course we can't see that in the final product. The second thing that was announced was the launch price, and $300 is actually, I'd say, a perfect pricing point. But how many gigabytes that standard version will have is yet to be seen. Okay, update. I just read that it'll have 32 gigabytes of internal storage and is expandable with micro SDs, and hopefully that's up to 256 or even more. And I'm also assuming that the cartridge games won't be downloaded on the console like in the PS4 or Xbox One, so you might not need a hell of a lot of storage anyway. But then on the other hand, of course, if you do have a lot of downloaded games, then you're going to need a lot of data. Next, we have the paid online service that got announced, and that wasn't too surprising, and it's really more about time that they've done something like this. And it's very nice that they'll actually give everyone 6 full months of the service for free, and then they'll start the paying for it. And for some reason, I don't know why they didn't even announce the actual fee, the monthly fee for the service, but like that'd be nice to know. And honestly, it would really be stupid of Nintendo to have it cost exactly the same as Xbox Live or PSN. It needs to be cheaper because that'll help sell it. Speaking of cheaper, there's going to be something that won't be cheap later on. And even if this service is comparable to Xbox Live or PSN, I would still wait even 6 months, even more, before even considering paying for it. Unless you really want to play, games online very soon. And I really wish they didn't have to make you charge just to play online. The PS4 and Xbox One forced you to do this, so it would have been a great selling point for the Switch not really doing the same. But, nothing we can really do. Then we move into the announcement of no region logging on software, which is a very smart move, especially for the weebs who can't get enough of their trash waifu games. But don't overlook the fact that this might not go for hardware and the cartridge games as well, so just keep that in mind. Another side note, the whole let's switch to this guy with the clicking, that gimmick was alright the first couple times, but then it got pretty awkward after so many more times. Another nitpick, yes, but those will add up to a point in the end. Then we get our next presenter, and he starts off by stating that the Switch contains DNA from all of the previous consoles. Yeah, I mean, they all pretty much take after each predecessor in one or more ways, and for the most part, even including the Game Boy. Oh wow, even the GameCube had innovation too! And I think you can definitely say Nintendo had a handle on the GameCube. Anyway, then we're just treated to a clip of what we've already seen before, and I can't get over how great the overall design of the Switch is. Making it both a home and portable console at the same time, it's quite ingenious. Now we get to the battery life. I have to say, it's got kind of an odd range of life from 2 to 6 hours. So assume that 2D games with much less graphical detail will last longer, but unfortunately expect games like Skyrim and the new Zelda to be close closer to about 2 hours. It was stated, however, that you can use a portable battery charger, which everyone who used to play Pokemon Go, you still probably have. But then, oddly, it says to use with certified portable batteries, which I'm guessing that doesn't really mean much. It's just any portable battery. If it does, though, excuse me if I'm a retard. Next, we find out that 8 consoles can wirelessly connect together, which is neat, but how many games will have support up to 8 players? I mean, at least Mario Kart, Splatoon 2, and maybe the re-release of Super Smash Bros., but that's it. I really hope they can develop more games to support 8 players. You know, they could kind of do that, maybe with Battlefield 1, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Call of Duty, or what about even Titanfall 2? Some stuff to think about. Now we move on to one of the biggest things, the controllers. What the hell does Joy-Con even mean? Oh, Joy Controller. Wow, I'm a fucking idiot. And by the way, actually it's a pretty fitting name, not gonna lie. So here's my first criticism with these separate designs. Together, the dual Joy-Cons utilize the top left and bottom right joystick configurations. Now, I got 2 issues with that. One, I realized after holding my Wii U gamepad that it feels much more natural to have both joysticks, especially on that big screen, being at the same height. Secondly, this also means that the second local player using the right half would have to use a slightly different feeling controller than player 1 is using. And you know, actually looking at it more closely, even if the right controller was to be an exact mirror of the left, it would still be slightly different looking and feeling. So I guess there isn't much that could be done there. But for sure, the actual joysticks that go on the screen gamepad, I definitely think that they should be even heights. But in contrast to my complaining, I would hope that Nintendo did perform a million tests and find out that there aren't actually any significant differences between either halves. So, unfortunately, like I said, the layout of the joysticks I'm not a huge fan of, so really, who knows what was really going on there. Overall, I think that I still gotta trust them though. Then we see that Nintendo has their own share button, and yes, it's a ripoff of the PS4 share button, but there's no voice commands like an Xbox One to record a gaming moment, so really that's also kind of a standard now, and it's actually good to see. Continuously, each separate Joy-Con itself is just like a Wiimote, which I didn't think much about first, but it makes sense that they did that. Also, I really like how each Joy-Con has 2 of its own shoulder buttons. That was a really nice thing they snuck in there. With that, Nintendo stated that each console will be packaged with 2 controllers from the start, meaning 1 Joy-Con dual set. So, bullshit, just say what it really is. It comes with 2 microcontrollers that don't have the 100% gamepad capabilities. Now, so theoretically, how the hell are you going to play Splatoon 2 locally? Or even if Nintendo adds, local guest online. I mean, Nintendo doesn't have to include it, but I think a lot of people would like to see that and even have guests to play online with, like they have in Gears of War and Call of Duty, right? So, in actuality, the Switch just comes with 2 individual halves of the gamepad, so just 1 gamepad. And I'll get to this sort of topic in a little later. So, at this time, I'm kind of feeling pretty indifferent about what's being presented here. Oh, and don't forget you can play with your arms relaxed. Okay, obviously, you just take them apart. Hey, they have 2 color variations too. Cool, but how much would it be for them by themselves? And that's the part we're going to get to later. From the sound of it, each Joy-Con controller definitely has a Wii Motion Plus technology, plus even an upgrade to that. That's great to hear. You can even feel as though you're holding a glass with ice in it and water being... what? They call that HD Rumble. Then we get more buzzwords. Finally, we get games. The first game that's announced is 1-2 Switch. And I kind of like that name. And think of it as probably the Wii Sports and Nintendo Land of the Switch. There you go. And it probably in time will be packaged with most of the consoles. And it's, pretty much the hardware tech demo for all the cool technology they got in it. Admittedly, it does look fun, and I do like the amount and variety of games shown within it. Thing is, it can't, and it must not even cost close to $60. I also do like the more human and party game elements added into it, and people may say that could be kind of lazy, but it does look a lot of fun. At least for the first few months it will be, as that's probably how long it's gonna last for after, anyone buys that game. Oh my god, the next game's reveal was as anime as you could fucking get. And the name of the game is really simple and stupid. ARMS. It's just called ARMS. They couldn't think of anything better. How about, it's another Punch-Out game? Using that same name with a new subtitle might garner a bit more interest. Maybe call it Punch-Out Extended, or maybe Rocket to Punch You Out to, or something.
Rocket to Punch!
Still, the game, ARMS, does look very fun and intensely challenging. I hope the other characters within the game will be unique enough, and I don't see this next part happening, but wouldn't that be funny if this game takes off to a esports status? Now, going back to the packaged controllers in one console, obviously you can't play ARMS locally unless you get another dual set of Joy-Con. Next game. Watching the trailer for Splatoon 2 made me remember how fun the original game really was, and I definitely like the new weapon changes, map changes, and the additions. Now, I didn't play much of the original, so I don't know what is exactly new, but that ink gliding disc, the sniper, and those special weapons, they're pretty neat. I wonder if those new special weapons and abilities that you can see will be like kill streaks or score streaks or something. Be kind of cool. Now, still staying with Splatoon, this particular stage presentation was literally the cringiest thing ever. From the scientists who quote-unquote discovered and researched these new squid kids to the just terrible dubbed voice. Yes, a meme was made, but at the price of much cringe. Hey, by the way, does anyone know the exchange rate of cringeworth to memes? Better consult with the Patreon subreddit on that one. Come on, even kids can tell that you're a game developer. Sure, you can add the props and the pose, but at least somewhat act like a game dev. And like I mentioned, it might be made for kids, but still, please don't do that again. Anyway, it was stated that you can use a variety of control methods for Splatoon, and that you can also aim with the motion controls, but they weren't clear at all if one Joy-Con was enough to play the game. That could throw off my earlier complaint, but certainly doesn't hold any ground with the game ARMS. Again, not too clear on that. Overall, Splatoon 2 looks like a great continuation.
The Squid Research Lab will continue to share new details as we discover them.
Oh my god, just stop talking, English guy. Let's just move on. The next game we have is a sequel to Mario is Missing. Now it's Luigi is Missing. That's honestly what I thought it was. I'm actually not joking. Anyway, it's just a new Mario game with some regular ass looking humans. Oh Christ. Not the Sonic Path. Don't say the Sonic Path. Please don't. That aside, hat throwing. And also looks like you can jump off the hat, and that could make for some interesting platforming actually. Holy fuck, that thing's alive. Sorry about that. Oh fucking shit. Oh, it hurts tightly in the chest. Okay, that was a lot to show. So it's a new Mario 64 with Bowser as Speedwagon. That's this meme, right? Overall, looks promisingly fun. I know we all wanted Sunshine 2, but come on, this is still what we wanted. Next, Xenoblade 2 has a trailer. Didn't play the first one, but this game looks huge and epic. I might start playing here because it has me very intrigued. The dialogue was kind of stupid though, but holy shit, that Sky Whale. Holy shit. Then the next game is just another Dynasty Warriors, but Fire Emblem this time. What else is there to say? It's great if you don't like turn-based permadeath games, or if you just love Fire Emblem. Now, let's very quickly take some time to read the bulletin board of developers that I know who are developing games for the Switch. First, we have Activision. Okay, so Skylanders, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, Falcon Infinite Warfare, Atlas, that new game that they're going to show very soon, Bandai Namco, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Bethesda, we already know, Skyrim, maybe Doom or Fallout 4? Capcom, of course, has Resident Evil 7 and Street Fighter, Codemasters, just have racing games, EA has the sports shit. Bring on Battlefield 1, Battlefront 2, and Titanfall 2, please. From Software. Maybe their new IP, or even Dark Souls 3. The option with motion controls in Dark Souls. Just get the noose. It'll be much easier. Fuck you, Konami. No one wants the shit you're cooking. Platinum Games, Bayonetta 3, duh. Sega, new Sonic game. Square Enix, another game they'll show later. Maybe even the Final Fantasy VII remake. Telltale, you know what they'll probably bring. Ubisoft, Watch Dogs 2, Assassin's Creed, Steep. Warner Brothers Interactive will probably have Injustice 2, maybe. And Lego Games 2, of course. Autodesk? The fuck? Like 3D modeling program? Like animation? I got no clue. I'll skip down to Unity, and that's probably just games made in Unity, and I'd say that those are the most notable. Sorry if I'm a jackass and I don't know the other ones. Then Nintendo announces Dragon Quest X port and a new sequel for the Switch. I don't know anything about that series other than their Weeb RPG games. Then this game called Octopath Traveler is announced. Don't know what it is, but I do like the art style. The next guy on stage is from Sega, and he says he likes the Switch. We don't care. Next we have Howard-san saying Skyrim is going to be on the Switch sometime. Again. So, by the way, don't expect mods or for it to be the special edition on the Switch. Next. Oh, it scared the shit out of me twice.
Oh, that didn't go very well.
Fucking end me. This dub was the worst by far. Jesus. Then with that, a new No More Heroes game was announced, I guess, with nothing to show. Okay, you didn't need to do all this just to say that. Then a guy from EA shows up and announces FIFA on Switch. Some care, but let's be honest, most people don't care. Even still, nothing more to say about that. Then the live portion of the presentation ends. Kind of, but not quite. Cue the montage of the Switch and games. Then the presentation finally begins to wind down with the president of Nintendo showing what will come packaged with the Switch console. Really, just the standard stuff you'd expect. Second to last thing, some guy from Nintendo of Europe, as well as our great friend Reggie, says, hey, you can try the Switch out someplace, sometime. Just check our website. And of course, you can't end without seeing Miyamoto, but it still didn't end. Also, of course, Reggie still has to be the cock tease, and we were finally treated to a new trailer for Breath of the Wild. By the way, Breath of the Wild is actually my most anticipated game of this year, and actually you can check out my other anticipated games of the year in a link below. Anyway, the few new things we get from this trailer are that there's an ocean, there's some voice acting, and the story wants to be taking more of an emotional route. Also, if you don't know, Ganon is back in some way, and he's known as Calamity Ganon. Lastly, it is confirmed that you play as a Link from a past game. Everything I saw was just so fucking gorgeous, and I want it. Then, to no surprise, it'll be a Switch launch title, set to release on March 3rd. Now for something outside of the actual presentation, and it is by far the worst part about the Switch too. It's the pricing for the accessories listed at the Nintendo website. So, to start, the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller is $70. Which is not horrible, but when looking at the PS4 controller being only $60 with similar features, it costs too much. It needs to be $60 or less. Next, Nintendo will also sell a replacement dock set for the console, which, of course, due to the portability, it might easily get lost or broken. That's a smart idea, and it costs $90, which, I don't know, maybe that's a bit too expensive. They also sell a package of 2 Joy-Con wheel attachments for $15, but who really wants that anyway? Now, prepare for the worst. A dual Joy-Con set will cost $80 fucking without the charging grip. Without it. I don't need to say why it should come with the dual Joy-Cons, and even if it was still $60 at that point, that's still asking too much. Great, Nintendo's making stupid decisions again. By the way, the charging grip alone costs $30, and individual left or right Joy-Cons are $50 each. Sadly, I don't see these prices going down, at least until a few months after the launch. Is Nintendo really hemorrhaging money that much that they need this much more? This is by far the worst thing surrounding the Switch presentation day. This is the perfect response.
Nintendo Switch Pro controller, $70. The Joy-Con.
$70.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping.
Okay, so the worst is over. Alright, now let's wrap up my bullshit. Overall, the presentation itself was just okay. I really did enjoy what will be lined up for the Switch, aside from the few Japan-only announcements that seemed really unnecessary. I also am in agreement with the many others who said that this should have been a Nintendo Direct. All of my nitpicks add up to this. A Nintendo Direct would have avoided the cringe, made it more streamlined, more professional, and it could have ended up appealing to a wider audience, especially to those like me who had lost their trust in Nintendo. Unless they can present like Sony does, just don't even try. I am just as excited for the Switch as I am worried about it. But other than the bad shit I stated and the lack of Metroid Prime 4, I have to trust Nintendo. Because at the end of it all, 2 console failures in a row puts their ass as a company on the line too. Alright, that's all for my incessant rambling. Thanks for watching if you even got to this point, which I guarantee you no one did. Comment your thoughts below. What are you hyped for? What do you absolutely dread about the Switch? If you could stand watching this till now, wow, I can't believe it. Please hit that like button and please share the video with all your friends. Also hit that sub button for more reviews, countdowns, and commentaries every weekend. Take care out there.